Good afternoon, farmers. This is Farmer Walsh here. All right, and today we are going to talk a little bit about farming. Okay, so right now I want you to think about where I might be. I have this apparatus, this machine, so to speak, behind me, and I want you kind of be thinking about what this machine might do in terms of farming. Okay, so if you look, we have some things that look like arrows in the ground. We have some things that look like discs or some spherical things. Okay, it has some wheels on it. All right, and then if we keep going towards the back, it's kind of hard to see because of the sun, but if you look towards the back, we also have a few tools that are put on this machine to make it the machine that it is. Okay, so I want you kind of be thinking about farming and what you know about farming since it is such a big part of our town. So thinking about farming and the season that we're in right now, just be thinking about for a few seconds what this machine would be used for with farming today. So if we think about it, right now it's springtime. We're getting, the ground is starting to thaw if it hasn't already. Things are starting to bloom, flowers are starting to bloom, trees are starting to bloom, and that means that farmers are getting ready to plant. Okay? But think about what you know about plants. This kind of has to do with science a little bit. What do we know about plants and the environment that they need in order to grow the best that they can? Okay? So we know that they need good soil. We know they need sun and water, but not too much sun and not too much water. Okay? And we know that it needs time to grow, right? So before it can grow, though, we know that it needs good soil. That's the first thing that I listed. Okay, so this machine or this tool is going to help with that process. So if you think about some of the things that make this tool work, we pointed out the arrows, we pointed out the things that looked like spheres, we pointed out the wheels. Okay, all of these things are going to help break apart the ground or the soil so that we have soil that plants can grow in. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this tool because this is a tool that farmers are using today. This is actually my parents' farm, and this is what my dad and my brother and my grandpa would use today. So I want you to be thinking about, though, what we're studying in social studies. Right? In social studies, we're learning about the Industrial Revolution. That's when we just started to see these machines and things take off in order to make everyday life easier for the people in the Americas. Right? So if you think about some of the things that we already talked about, we talked about Eli and his cotton gin, right? So that's the first main tool or machine that you guys learned about. Today in social studies, you guys are going to be learning about a new tool, and that is John Deere's plow. Okay, so this was also a tool that helped make farming easier. Okay, if you look behind me at this tool that we use today, it is in fact green. Okay, and so that's going to tell you, if you don't already know, that it is a John Deere tool. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You can see how the Industrial Revolution has progressed and how we're still making and using John Deere tools today. So I kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of something that might also resemble, or you could say maybe it'd be a cousin of John Deere's plow during the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you a comparison of it because it's going to show you the contrast between what we're using today and what they were using during the Industrial Revolution. So I'm going to move my computer, and if you look, it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but if you look right here, we have, this is a row planter actually, okay, so it makes rows. So if you look down here, you can kind of see some of the same things that we saw on the new John Deere machine. So if you look, we have that same type of arrow that's going to get into the ground and break apart the ground. But we also have a wheel here. The difference between this wheel and the wheel on the tractors, obviously, is that this one doesn't have any rubber on it. It's steel. If you can kind of hear that, you can hear things clinging against it, okay? And it's not as big as today's tractor's wheels, right? The other thing you might notice is that, what do these look like right here? We have some handles, right? So that probably means that this was not hooked up to a tractor, but you'd probably be pushing it by hand, right? So I just kind of wanted to show you guys this because it's not exactly John Deere's plow during the Industrial Revolution, but it is something similar to what they would have used during that time. So if you can look and see, it's actually, look at the size comparison to this. This is just next to like what we would kind of call like the hitch of the tool that we use today. So it's very small. So you can start to think about how much technology and machines have improved from today. But what I also want you to think about is how this was the big thing during the Industrial Revolution. It was the next big thing. So think about how they went from having to dig the rows by hand, actually going out there with like a little shovel and digging them, to now we have this. This makes it easier to where we're not bending down so much. We can stand upright with it, right? So just think about that for a second and think about how much the world changed whenever this came into play. And then I want you to kind of think about how much our world has changed since the Industrial Revolution and how we now have this that can be hooked up to machines and we don't have to go out there anymore even by hand and push it. So I just kind of want you guys to be thinking about all these different technologies and how they have progressed throughout the years. And I also want you to think about, what do you think we're going to have in the future? What would farmers and other professionals use in the future to help them make things even easier? So just kind of be thinking about those things. Be thinking about how you think the world is going to look in about 40 years, 100 years. How do you think technology is going to improve in your lifetime? It's been great to hang out with you guys today. I hope you have a good day. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll try to answer them for you. Bye!